Hey guys, I'm Nick from WSOU, and I'm here with Johnny Frank from the March Ahead and Attack Attack. What's going on, Johnny?
Not much, man. Just chilling. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. So lately, I've been listening to the March Ahead stuff, and I really like what you're doing with it. Can you tell me a little bit more? Because there's not much out there about what exactly you're doing with this project. So could you just fill us in a little bit on it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it as mysterious as possible and release as little music as possible. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually, like, it's basically just whenever I feel like putting out some music, I'll use the March Ahead as, like, a band name to, like, put it out. But I try to keep things epic sounding and stuff like that. But, yeah, I haven't released anything for a while, I think since, like, 2010 maybe. But I released a cover, like, couple months ago, but I'm going to be releasing the new single here in about a month or so. So,
Oh, okay.
just yeah, but it's just a project that I have for fun.
Now it's with Mike Caswell, right, from Kesara?
Now we actually had to split ways.
Oh,
He's
okay.
from California and stuff, and we were just kind of like, I think I wanted to like push ahead
Right.
creatively, and he was working on his band and stuff. You know, the typical thing.
Yeah. So you do everything in the band then? You record everything?
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
sit in the basement in the studio and just crank out some songs. But yeah,
That's awesome.
pretty much.
So where did do you kind of get the inspiration to do what you do with this band?
I mean, I get inspiration from anything. I think recently I've been getting inspiration from a lot of Muse stuff. I just really love how epic
Yeah.
their music is, and I try to emulate that with the synthesizers. But I don't know. I just kind of wanted to make some more heavy music because I miss making heavy music.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to definitely some more heavy stuff for this newer song.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it'll still have that kind of like epic music kind of feel to it. So
Awesome.
yeah. Oh yeah, and then before that, I was listening to like a crap load of Pierce the Veil. So
Oh, okay.
I just like I made a couple songs with like really long salsa parts in it, but I don't know if I'm gonna actually keep it or not. I'm not sure.
So are you like ever gonna take this any like out on the road or at all, or is this just kind of like a in your spare time kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I'm so busy with my studio and stuff like that that I don't have too much time to do it.
Right.
But I think if there was like a good like little weekend kind of week run that I was really into,
Right.
I could do it. I think at this point the main problem is like I don't have the time to like get band members, get gear, get a
Right.
band, and like plan all that stuff out with everything that I'm doing with the studio right now. So it's just kind of hard logistically to get out there. But I don't know, dude. Maybe in like a couple years, I'll just have a bunch of dudes who are just playing on like iPad amps or something.
So I know you've been doing a lot with producing now. I saw all the stuff on the YouTube channel you got going with a lot of stuff you've been working on. When did you really start getting into producing? Did you always produce like even back with your old stuff? Did you have a part in that?
Well, I mean, I had a part in a lot of the writing back in the old days, so
Right.
kind of out of necessity, I was like, oh, I want to write. Like, I have trouble explaining to people what I hear in my head. So I was just kind of like, all right, well, screw it. If I can't explain to people what I hear in my head, I'll just do it
Right.
by myself. So I bought this MacBook and then like a couple of computer speakers, and that was right around when I quit Attack.
Oh, okay.
So basically, I started the studio just because I don't know. I was like, I had a little money in the bank when I quit, but then realized I had to pay like a crap load in taxes. So I was like, crap, I have to do something. So I started doing this, and I really fell in love with it, and just there's a deep satisfaction of making a mix sound really good, and taking a band and developing them and helping them to accomplish like what their creative vision is for music. So I don't know. I think I kind of stumbled upon a gold mine there where I was like, this is actually really awesome, and I could see myself doing this for a career.
Is that kind of how you guys got your start originally? It was kind of like you guys on your own?
On our own produced stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, no. We were all like a bunch of just dumb high school kids. So we didn't. I don't know. We just like we hung out a lot and we played like in Caleb's basement all the time, like every day after school. I don't think any of us ever thought of like recording anything though. We were just kind of like, oh, this is really fun, you know.
Yeah.
But we would go to this studio like in the hood, like by the airport, and you know, load all of our gear in like really quickly, and it was like $50 a song, and we'd finish it in one day. It was just awesome. So, but yeah, I think Caleb started to get into recording, and I was seeing like really the power that you have when you can record music and stuff like that, and so I started to get into it as well.
All right, that's what I love. The video on it's on YouTube of you guys doing the Stickly, the little like mini documentary of you guys in the studio. I love that video.
Oh my god,
it's
dude!
so
like
funny.
Yeah, my hair's all like straight and it's a little dork.
I love that video. It's so funny. But so you've also been. I saw you've been doing like kind of like a solo thing too, aside from the March Ahead too. You put out was it There's Always Hope as well, kind of under your own name. Is that like a different direction you didn't want to put under the March Ahead?
Yeah, I think I don't know, I was just kind of feeling some type of way that day, and I was like, I think I just want to write this song, but it doesn't sound like the March Ahead. It's kind of like, I don't know. I gave a shot at writing a not negative song, and that was my not negative song attempt. So I don't know how that. Yeah. So yeah, I just didn't see it as a March Ahead, but more just kind of like me playing acoustic and stuff like that.
Is there going to be more of that, or?
I've actually been desiring to do that more recently. Just as you know, different things happen, and writing lyrics that maybe aren't like March Ahead kind of style lyrics.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, you know, if I do get a certain inspiration there, it'll probably go under that name as opposed to the March Ahead.
Okay.
Just depending on what it's like musically or lyrically.
Now, what I found really interesting was your cover of "Story of Their Life" by One Direction. What exactly was? Where'd you get that inspiration to do that from? I thought that was a little
I'm
strange.
I'm the biggest One Direction fan in
Really?
the world. So no. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'll stand tall there and say that I like One Direction. I think Harry's kind of cute. But I don't know. I really like the song, and I was like, man, it'd be really cool to do a rock version of this and see how it sounds. So I was just kind of like fiddling with this guitar part, and I was like, man, that sounds really sweet. Let me add a drum part, and I was like, well, that sounds cool too. So that's kind of like put everything aside and made some people angry by delaying some deadlines, and was like, all right, let's do this. So it came about really nice, and took me like a little 4-day chunk of time to finish. But yeah, I just kind of felt like I don't know. There wasn't like a vision that I had where I was like, I must cover this song.
Is there any other like things that you'd want to cover in the future coming up?
Oh man, so many songs I want to cover. I was thinking of covering that song "Black Hole Sun." Oh
yeah,
dude, I just love that little guitar lead in that. I'm trying to think of other things. I don't know. I just co-wrote a cover with a band called Empty My Lungs of Jason Derulo.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting. But I don't know. Yeah, I think I have like a list somewhere of like songs that I want to cover, but the Black Hole Sun is probably like number one on my list.
Also talk about you left Attack to refocus on God. And how did you finally come to that decision? How long were you thinking about that before you finally decided that like this was the right time?
Yeah, I think it was I think it hit me. It hit me that I think God showed me, hey, this is the trajectory of your life, and it's your decision on whether you want that. and I, want this band and stuff like that, because I was feeling like really like really like just depressed and guilty and just pretty much generally crappy most of the time. I think my eyes got open to like the fact that it doesn't have to be like this. Like I can make a decision to change that.
Right.
And so I think that was right after we did the Australia tour, and it took like a month to think about it. And I was like, yeah, I want to stay home and really invest in like my Bible study here and my church, and to build like good, long-lasting friendships, which is just so hard to find out there with that touring lifestyle.
Right. Did it have anything to do with like that you guys just became so big so fast that like you didn't kind of know how, maybe like that you were going to, and it kind of caught you off guard and you fell into, a path you didn't think you would go down?
Yeah, I think I think because we got so big so fast, and I was like 18, so I wasn't like the smartest child on earth. That like I made a lot of decisions that were not smart. As far as business wise and personally.
Mm-hmm.
That I think had just bad implications in the long run. And if I would have had more time to kind of like let that progress, I may have made some better decisions. But I don't know. Or the other side of that coin is like, if I had more time, it would have just dragged out for way longer, and I would have been
Right.
miserable for a longer period of time. But I don't know. I honestly couldn't say. But yeah.
So, what was that like, becoming so big so fast? You guys played 3 Warped Tours in a row. You guys came right out onto the scene and hit the ground running. How did you expect anything like at all?
Yeah, it was really weird. Like I was like, we could do like pretty good. Like I think our band can do like be decent.
Right.
I never thought that we would be like the how big we got, how fast we got big as well. It was kind of crazy. Like we'd go to a city and there'd be 50 kids, and we'd be playing in some crappy venue, and then like 4 months later we'd come back and there'd be 400 kids.
Right.
In a better venue, and then the same thing. Like 6 months later, we come back and there'd be 1,500 kids.
Wow.
And it was just like it was pretty wild. I think it was definitely a blur. It was hard to it's human nature to take things for granted too.
Right.
I really tried not to. I really tried to engage with as many fans as I could, and to like talk to people after shows, and make sure that I said hey to as many people as I could after shows and stuff like that.
Right.
To try and not take it for granted, but eventually, as you get bigger and stuff like that, you run into just different problems, and so you, instead of focusing on how sweet it is that you have this thing, you're focused on the problems that maybe come with it, and you get kind of drowned out by that instead of focusing on the good. So I don't know how I handled it. I think good maybe for a little while, and then bad maybe for a little while.
How did you guys deal with, because there was a lot of positivity, obviously. You had a lot of fans early on, but there was also a lot of negative press about what you guys were doing, like musically and stuff like that. How did you guys deal with all of that like criticism that you guys were receiving?
Yeah, dude, the internet can be crazy sometimes.
Right.
So I remember when like it was announced that we got signed. I think it was on like Alternative Press or something like that, and I was so excited. And then I read the comments, and like one of the comments was like, "This band needs to die," and like, "I hate this band, and they're the worst thing to ever happen to this planet." And I was just like, I had never experienced that before.
Right.
So it was like, wow. And that was early on in our career too. So I was just like, oh wow, like really hurt. But I think after that, I realized like I'm going to probably have to deal with this for the rest of my career. So after a while, I mean, I think after that point in time, I'm like, I'm not going to take myself too seriously so that it does hurt. And two, I'm not going to like, I'm going to read them and just kind of laugh at them because honestly, some of those comments are really creative, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, if this wasn't me that they were talking about, it'd be way funny, but
Yeah.
also it's still kind of funny that they're talking about me in that way. But yeah, I don't know. And then it's interesting too because, you know, anytime someone does something different or tries something new, they're going to get a lot of like hate from it from people who are saying like, oh, this is the way that we've always done it. You know, this is the way metal has always been done.
Right.
There's no synth, you know, like what are you doing? Why are you adding this electronic stuff here? So I know that, I mean, I don't think that we're actively thinking about the fact that we're pushing a new genre of music into the mainstream, but, you know, we definitely did get a lot of hate for it because of that.
Now, because I was going to ask you about that, what exactly inspired you guys? Because you guys really did start something really new with like the synths, putting in there like the techno, like clean pop, like breaks in there and stuff like that. Where did all that come from that you guys thought it would be a cool idea to bring that into the heavier genre?
Yeah. Well, I think it was back in the olden days in 2006 or something like that. There was a real big split. So it was like real poppy, like emo music.
Right. Yeah.
And then like you had like your pop punk element too.
Right.
But then also there's this like emerging like just super heavy death metal, like Suicide Silence, kind of just like super low tuned, real angry, like, and you know, we all were just like super into that. But it was really a split. So it was like half of our band was into just like the heaviest, like dirtiest, grimiest metal that you could possibly find. And then also into a little bit of pop punk. But then, you know, me and a couple other guys were like super into pop punk, you know, wearing like the headbands and like the, you know, skinny girl jeans and like the deepest V-neck that we could possibly imagine. And so I was like super into pop punk, super into all that stuff. So it was basically like when we would write music, it'd be kind of like a fight, but like a good fight.
Right.
So, you know, if someone wanted to put this like extreme heavy element in there, you know, we would actually, I think we were all on board with the super heavy. We were like, hell yeah, like that's really heavy, that's great. But you know, me and a couple of the other guys would have to like really fight to like put that poppy element in there. To say that we knew what we were doing, that would be a lie. But we just kind of like liked what we liked, and we wanted to play music like that. And I think we just liked a broad range of stuff that kind of helped influence that. There's also some other bands that were starting to do that. Enter Shikari was definitely a band that we were like all about.
Yeah.
We were just like, dude, they have like breakdowns, but with synth going over them. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And I think we just took that and put it into a more like pop format where they kind of took it into a more like experimental, like kind of like deep in the clubs of London kind of vibe to it.
And I think it's awesome. I personally love it. Like I have shirts with it on it and everything. And even though it has nothing to do with the music itself, what's your opinion? I know you guys are a little bit for it, but what's your whole opinion on starting the crabcore genre?
Well, again, it was kind of like a title that was given to us.
Right.
So I think it was like on Reddit or something, like when we released our Six Stickly video.
Yeah.
Just so bad. We released it and we were like, someone made this gif of Andrew with like crab hands, which was like really funny. And I think some guy called us crabcore to like make fun of us.
Right.
Like, again, it kind of goes into that earlier thing I was saying where we were like, well, we can't take ourselves too seriously because, you know,
right.
all the hate coming in, like, I don't think we'd be able to handle it.
Yeah.
So we were just like, we saw this crabcore thing made to like make fun of us, and we were like, oh, whatever, like, let's just kind of adopt it into our own and, you know, make it funny and make some shirts about it and, you know, kind of do this thing. But as far as how it originated, basically Andrew Whiting was like the man on stage. Like he had this cool stage presence.
Right.
And so when I joined the band, I looked like a total moron on stage. And so basically all I tried to do was just copy whatever he did.
Right.
So he kind of was doing that crabcore thing. And then John got in the band, and he was like, dude, I have no idea what I'm doing on stage. And I was like, dude, just do what Andrew does. So that's kind of where the instinct kind of headbanging came from, is we were all just copying off what Andrew was doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask about them, like, where did the moves exactly come from? Because now everyone emulates them. Like, that's the new thing to do. Like,
which is so crazy. You never know, like, I just had, if you would have asked me like how that happened, I just couldn't tell you. But,
right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We just all were copying off of each other and stuff, but it's really funny to see, like, bands still to this day, like, all getting up on stage and, like, doing crabcore moves.
Yeah. Now, my other favorite aspect, I love everything about, I love the music and the crabcore, but the song titles, what exactly inspired the song titles? Because they're just so amazingly ridiculous.
Well, do you have any ones in particular that you want to know the story behind?
Oh, there's actually stories behind a lot of them?
Oh, there's stories behind all of them.
Oh, all right. My favorite is what happens if I can't check my MySpace when we get there.
We were driving to a show when we were, like, super young, and Wetzel said that, and we were all like, shut up. And then we were like, let's name a song that.
That's so funny. I thought you guys just kind of came up with some of them just for fun. I didn't know actually they had stories behind them.
Oh, yeah. Every single one of them is just a small inside joke that we had with our band.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It kind of keeps us entertained.
So, another thing I wanted to talk about is what exactly did the shift from putting Austin as the frontman to having Caleb as the frontman, how did that change the sound of the band? Because the second album compared to the first album, obviously there are some small similarities, but it went in a kind of a new direction. What writing changes went into that, having Caleb being more of the frontman than Austin?
Well, I think Austin's influence you definitely hear in Someday Came Suddenly, because he would want the kind of like the panic chords and stuff like that,
Right.
like the Shred White and Blue type songs, because he was really into like Drop Dead Gorgeous and all those bands at the time. So I think we incorporated a lot more of that. But after he left, we really started getting into like bands like Bury Your Dead, and I mean we got really into Suicide Season by what's the band?
Oh, Bring Me the Horizon?
Yeah, like Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, they're doing this like crazy like one string thing, and it's like the heaviest thing we've ever heard. We've never heard anything like that before, and so we were just really, really influenced by that. And also to say attack and stay true to who we are, and not just throw in this huge curveball.
Right.
So yeah, but it was great. I think the self-titled was just similarly like, again, that kind of fight and that compromise where Caleb would go for the more heavy, and then I would go for the more poppy, and we'd kind of just like, we not in like in a bad way, but we'd duke it out over what we thought was the best.
Right.
And it was cool because it gave it like a nice mix and a nice kind of collaboration there, where maybe there's things that he wouldn't have done that I did, and vice versa, for sure.
Right. Now, what were your favorite memories of being in the band?
Oh, man. I think one of them was just seeing us like grow as a band, for people to just really enjoy the band and getting to play in front of them every day, and seeing people like really have fun with the music. One of my favorite things was every day I would get everyone to get up on each other's shoulders and do just like a massive chicken fight. And I thought that was really cool. We would do some really
crazy things. Like at the end of the tour, we would have like tons of leftover merch, and so we did a wall of death, but lined the middle of the opening with just merch.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was like the craziest thing. Or we would say, hey, if you crowd surf up here, we'll give you a T-shirt, and like the entire crowd was like jumping over the barrier, and like the security guards were getting mobbed, stuff like that.
That's awesome.
So it was just a bunch of stuff like that was fun. I mean, I actually really liked driving in the van and stuff, and just being stupid together, and just like burning holes in the ceiling of the van and whatever. Sleeping in filth for some reason was like really fun because you're with your best friends and stuff.
Right.
But
Now, you came out and sang at the last show ever. What was that like?
it was really fun, man. I think that like the hardcore kind of metalcore genre of music, there's no equal to the energy that the people put out when they go to a show like that.
Right.
I've been to tons of shows since then, and it's like, this is really fun, and I like the music a lot, and I'm enjoying it, but you gotta miss like just the absolute pandemonium of a hardcore show, and just when those kids go there, they go nuts the whole time, and just, I don't know, it's crazy. Stage diving, circle pits, just all of that. You don't see that anywhere else. Like, you don't go to an R. Kelly concert and that happens,
Right.
like, or whatever. So I think that just getting to be on stage and getting people riled up again, and trying to help them have a memorable night was sweet. Like, Caleb did a front flip off of this like 20-foot speaker system like into the crowd.
Oh my god.
Like, it was a crazy. You should definitely look it up because it was crazy.
Yeah, I seen a couple. I didn't see that. I have to find that one. I saw a couple of them, but I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, it was definitely cool. I was definitely afraid for his life, but he's still kicking. So.
All right. Well, we'll wrap things up. So, this is Johnny Franck from the March Ahead Attack. He has, what'd you say, next month, right? You're going to start putting stuff back out?
Yeah, I got a single coming out next month.
All right, so look out for that. But other than that, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, man.
All right.